Hi everyone, Aiden here with Etrailer. If you're looking for a tonneau cover on your 2024 GMC Sierra 1500, but you don't want to break the bank and you still want to get something that's going to be a good fit, then I think the Etrailer soft roll-up cover could be the right option for you. Let's check it out. In general, a soft tonneau cover is going to be a more budget-friendly pick, and there will be some drawbacks to really any option you go with. They're just going to be inherently less secure because if you keep something valuable in here and someone is determined enough, they can grab a knife, cut through that soft vinyl, and get to the stuff inside if they really wanted to. Think of this more as a theft deterrent. You know, if you're keeping people from looking at the stuff in the bed, they don't know what's in there, then they might not even try to break into it. Whereas if the bed is open, they see something, sticky fingers might happen. I think of soft covers more as general weather protection. That's how my dad personally uses his soft cover, where he really just doesn't keep things in the bed full time unless we're going like a vacation or something. But when he does keep things back there and it's bad weather, raining a bit, he doesn't want the contents of the bed to just get drenched. No cover is waterproof, but it's certainly going to help more than having the bed completely exposed. But in the world of soft covers, there's going to be two main types, folding and rolling. This one is a roll-up cover. At the end, you're going to have two release latches. You can pull just one, but I always like to pull two so it's nice and even. And from there, you can just take the cover and roll it up towards the cab. Now, I like the rolling style because I think it's going to be a little bit quicker and easier to operate, but also it's going to give you more bed access. With folding soft covers, you typically don't find any that fold fully upright. So if you need full bed access, you're going to be limited because that panel is going to be taking up probably a third of the bed. Whereas this roll is going to not really take up much room at all. And if we absolutely needed to, say you've got like a big fridge box or something that you picked up and you need to shove it forward, this can move around and compress a little bit, giving you pretty much unhindered access to the bed for cargo. When it's rolled up like this though, just make sure you take the buckles on either side, secure it down to the bulkhead side, and cinch it down so that you keep this roll contained and from moving around while you're driving. At the end, you've probably noticed that these do block the stake pockets on your Sierra, so if you had any accessories that utilized this, like say a tie down, you're probably not going to be able to use it anymore. And at the very end here, where the cover actually latches in, this is adjustable, so as that vinyl material stretches over time, that's totally natural. You just want to make sure you loosen this up and move it down to tighten it and readjust that tension so that when you do throw the cover down, you don't have any wrinkles or spots where water could pool up and stretch it even further. Now this particular Sierra today doesn't have the multi-pro tailgate or the grab handle right here, but speaking from personal experience working on other Sierras, this cover doesn't interfere with it, so if you've got that feature, you don't have to worry about sacrificing it just to have the cover on. There's plenty of room for that handle to pop up and not hit anything on that tonneau cover. As we unroll the cover, one of the things I really want to talk about is the fit here, because with any soft cover, you know, the fit isn't as nice, I've found. And there's a few areas on the Etrailer cover where it's certainly going to be the case there too. When you close the tailgate, I think you get a really nice fit along the end here, but some of the corners don't always sit super flat, and in general, this isn't the most low profile cover out there. Because it sits on top of the bed rails rather than flush, it might not be the look that some people are going for. But if that doesn't bother you, it's really going to function fine. It's more of an aesthetics thing. I think this cover is a really great value. At this point, I've installed a ton of them on employees around Etrailer, for their families, for some of our neighbors coming to shop with us, including this neighbor right here today. And overall, the feedback we've gotten has been great. People really like the value of this cover, they like how easy it is to use, and it seems to have held up really well to the test of time so far. One of my personal favorite things though is the speed of the install. It's going to be really quick, so open your box, set the contents on the tailgate, and we'll show you how we got this done. Now the first thing we want to do is grab your side rail. There's going to be two, and they are side specific, so just look at the very end where we've got a plastic latch there's going to be a sticker that says right or left. Right for passenger, left for driver. And once you've identified that side, you can just set it up on top of the truck bed rails, and it's just going to sit there. And I like to kind of shift it back in favor of the tailgate to give us plenty of room to take our cover and set it up on the bulkhead. With your cover, you just want to find the weather strip, and that's going to be going over our bulkhead. And on the sides, we're going to notice that we've got a slot that we need to slide into and a block on our tonneau cover with a set screw and a nut. Make sure that nut is sitting flush so that we can line those two up, slide it in together. And if you need to, you may have to just loosen this up a little bit, the set screw on the inside, in order to get the two to slide together all the way. Just push it until it stops, and then we can tighten that set screw down and repeat on the other side. This is just going to join the rails with the tonneau cover and make it one unit. Once both sides are attached, I'm just going to roll the cover forward a bit, and I'm actually going to unbuckle it on both sides so that I have a bit more room to work and see what I'm doing. Basically, I want to look for the front edge of the tonneau cover with that weather strip that we saw earlier, and I want to make sure it's laying over the bulkhead of the truck, because if it's folded under itself, the weather seal is going to be no good, and we want this to be keeping water out as best we can. I've found with these soft covers, the weather strip can be a bit short here, and I'd rather get good fitment around the tailgate. I'm going to start with it sitting just over the edge of the bulkhead here on either side. And if need be, I might need to shift this back a bit, but I'm going to start with right about there. Try to make sure it's as square as possible. And I can make sure also that my rails are not angled in or out. Once you're happy with the rough placement of the cover, grab your clamps and we can get these installed. All you really have to do is, I've found at least, undo the hand knob fully so that the clamp separates. It just makes it easier to line up. And on our tonneau cover, we want to avoid these areas with yellow tape. That's going to be where our reinforcement ribs sit, and if your clamp's there, it's going to get in the way and not give you a proper fit. So I'm going to place mine behind it, and there's no exact placement for these, but we want pretty much as close to the tailgate, as close to the cab, and just somewhere in the middle as we can get. So for the Sierra, having a pretty large jut out here, and on some models having a handle, I'm going to go right about here. It's pretty close to the tailgate. It's about as good as we can do. I'm not going to totally tighten this down yet. I'm going to repeat this process for the remaining 5 clamps and double check my fitment before fully tightening it down the rest of the way. But now we can roll this out and test that fitment that we set. Really what we're looking for is good tailgate coverage and not sacrificing the fit at the front of the truck too. So as I unroll it, there's going to be some packaging material that we need to remove, but we'll hook it into those latches at the end, throw it down. That's going to give us all the tension that we need over the cover and test that tailgate. Honestly, it's looking pretty good back here. There's maybe a little bit of gap where I could shift it back a little bit more, but like I said before, I like to get a better seal at the bulkhead, because back here, if you've got the multi-pro tailgate where this intersection drops out, you don't want it to sit too tight here because you might lose function of that small opening if you want to utilize it. So I might shift this back maybe not even a ½ inch, but for you, that could just be up to your truck and your desired fit. If you like where it's sitting, go back and just fully tighten down the clamps. When you're finalizing the fit, one tip I would give is to just check the rails on either end. Pick a nice fixed point on your truck's bed rails, like this lip right here. Measure the distance from the tonneau cover rail to here on both sides and make sure that the cover is sitting straight. And then when you do go to tighten those clamps down fully, just give a little bit of downward pressure on the rail so that the weather seal under here compresses a bit and gives you a nice tight fit. And the last thing we want to do is put these little rubber caps on the end of each of our clamps. This is just to make sure that there's no metal from those threads poking down into our bed, potentially snagging on cargo. Once you're all done, you can load up your stuff, close up the cover, and you can be on your way. Overall, it is one of the quickest and easiest tonneau covers to install, which is a big win for me. Especially if I'm getting a soft cover, I'm probably getting it because I want it to be simple, and this one certainly is. It gets the job done. It's going to keep the bed covered up and protected from the elements and keep eyes off of your stuff. But that'll do it for our look at and installation of the Etrailer soft roll-up tonneau cover on our 2024 GMC Sierra 1500. My name's Aiden, and thank you for watching.